We simply cannot let Trump's distraction campaign work. The Epstein files are still there, still not fully released. And we are continuing to learn of damning evidence that's implicating many alleged abusers. And we just learned even more about old Donnie J. Trump. But I do want to start with some numbers, some poll numbers, because they tie into this, and they're remarkable. The University of Massachusetts Amherst released a national poll this week conducted by YouGov. 1,000 respondents, solid methodology, and among the questions they asked was this: do you believe that Trump's military actions against Iran are meant to distract from the Epstein files? 50% said yes. 30% weirdos said no, but 50% of Americans believe that the war in Iran, an actual pew-pew war with American service members being sacrificed, with oil prices at crisis levels, are a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein case and Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein. 59% of Americans believe that the Trump administration is actively hiding important information about Epstein, because of course he is. Operation Epstein Fury, why be subtle? We're just going to say it's Epstein Fury, because the cover-up here isn't subtle. The Epstein files, we know they reemerged in January. The administration promised transparency and delivered none. Bondi's DOJ announced in July of last year that Epstein conclusively died by his own hand, and that there was no client list used for blackmail, and that the case was closed. Everyone can go home. Nothing to see here. Meanwhile, 70% of Americans in the UMass poll said that Donald Trump has not handled the Epstein situation well. No crap. Only 22% say he has. And even amongst his own voters, the Epstein files are a growing vulnerability as we head into the midterms in November. And like I mentioned, this week there is new evidence. And first, I want to be careful here because it involves very serious accusations and real people. And I've got to say, this information does not equate to guilt. And I can't say most of the stuff that's in these documents and in these reports on the algorithm. However, outlets like the Daily Beast and Yahoo News, they've reported on evidence that corroborates specific claims made by a woman identified as an Epstein accuser in court documents. These are the allegations involving Donald Trump when the victim was as young as 13 years old. 13 years old. This is newly corroborating evidence for existing documented accusations. You can go read about them. All it does is give more credibility to this victim's prior statements. Not speculation. These are civil court filings in federal court. Journalists, they've reviewed it. And we are going to link to all of the information in the description. And I encourage you to go read them. Read them carefully, because the algorithm, it would punish me if I read them out loud here. But what I will say is this: the administration that promised transparency on Epstein has provided none. All they've done is screamed about being fully exonerated and the Dow being above 50K. Psst, right now, it's not above 50K. And the client list that was supposed to be released, the list that Epstein allegedly used to blackmail powerful men, all of the investigation documents, that hasn't been released. The DOJ, they have closed the case over and over again. And the files have been sealed, redacted, classified at every turn. And so what did we do? We started a war that's now consuming the entire news cycle, a war that cost $1 billion a day. A war that 50% of our country believes is specifically designed to drown out other stories like the Epstein story. And I'm not going to tell you what you need to believe about the connection here. All I'm going to tell you is that the polling exists, the corroborating evidence exists, and the files, they haven't been released. And the war that started was started at a very convenient moment for people who have a very good reason to not talk about Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, that UMass poll also found that nearly 2/3 of Americans, they believe Trump is corrupt. 70% believe he's dishonest. Also, water is wet. And these aren't opinions held by partisans alone. This is the majority of the country. And I don't need to tell you this. I had to dig deep to find this story in the media mix. That is why it is so important that you subscribe to us, you hit the notification bell, you like, you comment, whatever it is, just interact with our stories so that we can keep these stories alive.